Okay, we are back. Episode 2, Taken. Liam Neeson is not in this episode. I apologize if you were hoping for him to be here. He will not be. If you pick up any phones in this episode, he will not be on the other end, threatening to kill you. You didn't take his daughter. This is not that kind of game. We are playing Alan Wake. This is episode 2, Taken, and I'm just going to let the game tell you what happened on episode 1, in case you missed it. Here we go.
Previously on Alan Wake. I came to Bright Falls with my wife, Alice.
Thank you for coming here with me. I thought maybe you could write here.
I don't want to hear it! God damn it, Alice!
Now, she's missing.
Alice? Alice?
I woke up behind the wheel of a crashed car. I'm missing a week. I was attacked by shadowy men straight from a nightmare. The sheriff took me to the lake Alice and I had stayed at, but the cabin had disappeared.
Previously on Alan Wake, shit hit the fan.
Back here, sweetie. How was it?
Worst weather I've ever seen.
You should put some coffee on. It'll warm you up.
All right, switch on the coffee maker. Sounds easy enough.
Coffee's on.
Great, thanks. I'll need it if I'm gonna finish this by tomorrow.
So this is happening 3 years prior to where we were in the story. So there is some jumps in the time frame, in the timeline, I mean, of the game. So this is our apartment in New York. It is quite a storm outside. And Alan, this is right before he releases his big hit book. The book that really puts him on the map and blows everyone's minds. So he hasn't released that book yet, hasn't gone into the depression of writer's block, hasn't become like a prick towards Alice and other people. He's not that guy yet. So this is him in New York on the verge of success.
Oh, hey, I just finished those cover mock-ups. They're on your desk. Tell me what you think.
No kidding. I didn't think you'd get them done this quickly.
On occasion, I can perform all sorts of miracles,
Look at these
my dear.
headshots.
Oh, really?
Alice kind of takes care of everything. She's an artist. She's a photographer, a designer. She does your book covers. She does your, biography, pictures. She's pretty much everything you could want. She's pretty awesome. All right, let's check out what she's done.
These look really good.
Oh, sure, until
So
Barry
there's
gets his hands on
there's
them.
the cardboard stand
Will happen over my
that is going to
dead
be in the
body.
restaurant later on.
The last time was
And then
the
there's
last
the
time.
the
Oh, and speaking of
poster
Barry-
of the hand.
Alan!
Oh, that's right. She's afraid of the dark.
Check the fuse box.
I'm right here. I'm on it, honey.
Please hurry.
Where is it?
I'm right here, baby.
I'm fine. Just get the lights back on now, please.
There we go.
Honey, it's a power outage. I've got the flashlight.
Okay. Hi.
You okay?
I'm sorry.
So
Just
the dark
it just
presence, or
really
the,
spooked me.
the
Don't
darkness
worry.
in Cauldron
We'll just
Lake,
break out the candles.
like I said, it's something.
I know it's stupid.
Darkness, I don't think, is its original form.
Especially when I'm not
I mean,
prepared
I think
for
it. I think it's taken that form before, but I think it depends on the people it interacts with. And so, as it has lured Alan to Cauldron Lake,
The dark really spooked me, too.
it understands
My mom gave me
that
this old
there is a
Bible.
sense of fear towards darkness in his house.
Clicker, huh?
Yeah. If I ever
And,
got scared
uh,
of the dark, I could just flip
And so
the
he's
switch and
he's
the
almost
light
fighting
scare
something that
monsters away.
he deals with every day. He deals with his wife's
Here it is.
phobia to it.
Maybe it'll help you too.
And
Yeah, nice story, writer boy.
so I kind of like that because thematically it's like he's not just fighting for himself, but it shows that he's constantly fighting for her. He's overcoming her fears as well as his own to try to get her. So I like that. It makes it thematically it works for me. So yeah, this happened 3 years ago, and now we're gonna flash forward to present day, which is us in the middle of a shitstorm.
How do you feel, Mr. Wake? Any nausea, disorientation, anything like that? Mr. Wake? how are you feeling?
I'm okay. My head's fine. I had to lie about my headache and memory loss. He'd send me to a hospital for tests. I couldn't leave without Alice.
Very well. I don't think you have a concussion, but you've obviously been through quite a shock. You should take it easy for a couple of days.
Thanks.
Well then, Mr. Wake, we're done here. If the pain gets any worse or you experience any other symptoms, you should come see me. I'll let you get on with it then. Sarah, Sheriff Breaker, is waiting for you. She's very good at her job. I'm sure she can locate your wife in no time.
Doc Nelson was the image of a small-town doctor. Sheriff Breaker had called him to the station to take a look at the cut in my head.
All right. Okay. Let's go see what that's about.
Thank you for testing the lights, Miss Weaver. Everything seems to be fine.
I don't have the luxury of being complacent, Deputy.
So again, we see Miss Weaver, who we saw at the diner in the first episode.
I'll be sure
She didn't want you to go down the hallway,
Have a nice day now.
and we probably should have listened to her.
Come back later on to remind you.
Because if we hadn't gone down the hallway, we wouldn't have met the old
Mr. Wake, the
woman
sheriff is
wrapped in
waiting for you
shadow
in
that
office
gave
down
us the
corridor.
keys to the lake. But apparently they
That
were the
was
wrong
Cynthia
keys.
Weaver. I guess you can call her the town eccentric. She used to be the editor of the local newspaper, but she's focused on other things these days.
She'd fit right in where I come from.
As you can see, she's a little obsessed with maintaining the light bulbs of the whole town, refuses to step on shadows, things like that. Back in her day, she wrote about all sorts of weird things in the paper. Bright Falls has a colorful history. Of course, what small town hasn't?
So I like this. Like, they do a really good job of capturing the sense of a small town. Everyone talks a lot. When they think they have your attention, they kind of, especially if you're from an out-of-towner,
The
they
sheriff wants to see you in her office, Mr. Wade.
they tend to overspeak. I've lived in many small towns. I've done that many times as well to people, much to their annoyance. Let's see. We got a manuscript page here. Perfect. And these pages, let's see. Where do I pull them up? Here we go. Manuscript. So these pages,
Its human mask to describe the dark presence
Alan will
as
read them,
would have
which is
implied human
great.
qualities on something decidedly inhuman. Nonetheless, it found the one spot in the diner that was dark enough. Some light spilled into the corridor, ravaging it. But it took the pain. Horrible as it was, the writer would soon fix that. He would be coming to the one place where it still had power.
man. And yeah, I'm sorry for you know, coughing and stuff. I don't know what's happened. I got like a dry throat all of a sudden. I've been drinking water. It's not helping.
What they say about the fall. And
So listen to this
the
voice.
end. I'd lain here in the snow while the lurid chain of scenes that had led me here kept playing in my head. A rerun of my own private snuff movie. A memory of my corpse. Alone at my own wake. Thinking in metaphors again. The femme fatale was gone. Only a sour taste remained of the kiss that killed me.
So these two, oh, what's up, Angel? Angel says, welcome back. What is up? Thank you. Thanks for letting me take a quick break. I needed to get some more water, make sure I'm full on that. I got a dry throat out of nowhere all of a sudden. Still trying to recover from being sick and stuff. So the voice on the average manuscript we'll hear
Kidnapper fired
is
his
here
gun one
is Alan Wake, obviously. It's Matthew Peretta, who's the voice of Alan Wake.
Nothing to it, Wake.
But
The thought of Alice and his
as a little Easter egg to the games they made before, the Sudden Stop 1 and 2, which are pages from Alan Wake's crime novel that he wrote, which is the thing that, you know, blew everyone's, you know, balls off and everyone loves him for, and that's the book he's trying to do follow-ups to. He's got his new books called The Departure, and those are what these are. Everything we're finding here, all of these pages, are from The Departure, which is a book Alan has not written yet. But it appears that during the week of time that he's missing in his mind after Alice's disappearance, apparently he sat in his cabin, that dark cabin, for a week and wrote this book. And everything he's writing is coming true. Everything he wrote in those pages are coming true. And those pages are being sprinkled around the town like breadcrumbs, leading him to things. And so that's what these are. But if you listen to these, the sudden stop,
This was a late goodbye.
the voice changes.
13 years after I'd gotten my
This is
revenge,
James McCaffrey.
finally caught up with me.
This is the actor who plays Max Payne.
Time to bear the pain.
Because Remedy's first video game, or big video game, was Max Payne 1 and 2.
Dissolved all the
And that was the games they made before Alan Wake.
leisurely dripped down to the
So they got
bile of the
James McCaffrey's voice
becoming one with it.
to read these lines that are actually from Max Payne, the video game.
My baby.
And I think I can't remember if they're from Max Payne 1 or 2. I want to say they're from the first one, but those are actual lines of dialogue from Max Payne, written, read by Jeffrey McCaffrey, who's the actor who plays Max Payne, and then Matthew Peretta, who plays Alan Wake. He reads all the other ones, the ones from The Departure. So I just thought that was a fun little Easter egg that they put in here, into the game.
Yeah, it's Mulligan here. I'm at Stucky's gas station with Thornton. There's no sign of him. Over.
Wait. Yeah, this is Thornton. Look, we've located the parade float. It's here. That's some good news, right? Stucky was supposed to be driving it at the rehearsal today. Over.
Oh, give me that.
Yeah, so you can see, like,
Here.
everything we've done is happening.
Okay.
So even though as absurd as it is for us to be fighting shadow monsters and everything like that, we are getting reports here that, okay, there's people that are going to look for Stucky because he's been missing, because we killed him, because he turned into a freaking monster. But did we kill him? Is he missing? Is that a real broadcast? These are all things that they play up throughout the game to make you wonder if Alan is going crazy,
Breaker is waiting for you down the corridor in her office.
or if he's actually going through all this stuff. And we got missing people here: Richard Bow, Bruce Dansky, Jacob Miller. Yep. All right, let's go see the.
Mr. Wake. Your phone's
Let's
on
go
the
see
desk.
Miss Breaker.
The battery was dead. It's charged now.
Yay!
Have you started looking for my wife yet?
My men are already on it. Now, can you tell me what happened?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. We were arguing. I walked out of the cabin.
The cabin on Cauldron Lake?
How did you
Right.
end up at Stucky's gas station?
I wanted to tell her what had happened last night, but I couldn't. She'd lock me up. Excuse me. I need to take this.
So again, you see that his phone's a Verizon phone. It was to get added funding to the game.
Please help me.
Alice?
Stop talking to the law. You'll do exactly what I say if you ever want to see your wife again.
Who is this?
Go to the back lot. There's a hole in the fence on the left. Look inside the junker. I left a little something there to convince you we're all on the same page here. After you ditch the cops, you're gonna meet me in Elderwood National Park. There's a spot called Lover's Peak. Midnight. Don't do nothing stupid, pal. We're watching you.
I need some fresh air. Can I go out? In the back, maybe?
Of course, Mr. Wake. I understand. You can get there through the cells. Deputy Grant can show you the way.
I'm sorry. All of this, it's just a lot to take in.
So, like I said, Alan's kind of a prick at times. He's short with people.
Mr. Wake, can I help you with anything?
I need to get some air. The sheriff said I could go out back.
Of course, Mr. Wake. You can get there through the cell corridor.
So his
That's
tone
why
is
Walter in there.
intentionally
He's one of our regulars.
unpleasant a lot of times.
I thought he quit drinking for good.
Hey, can you turn the light? The light's on. The deputies, they don't understand. They won't listen to me. I need it to be bright in here. Thank you, man.
There we go. We'll help him out.
You're all right. You're a good guy.
You're a good guy.
The early morning light hurt my eyes and made my head ache. The man on the phone had said, go through the fence on the left.
Well, folks, it's been another long night, and
So after
God knows I need
Alan, like I said, we'll recap a little bit. Alan is a writer, has writer's block for 2 years. The Sudden Stop was his big book. He's trying to write this book called The Departure for 2 years. Hasn't been able to do it. And And so him and Alice decide to go on a vacation. Well, it turns out Alice secretly, brought a typewriter along and said, hey, maybe you can get back to writing. And this upset Alan. They got into a fight. And then Alan went out to get a breath of fresh air, and then Alice got taken away.
Alice's driver's license had been placed on the front seat. The caller meant business.
Barry?
Ow, thank God! Where the hell have you been? I've been trying to reach you for a week, you and Alice.
And then after we ran into the house, she got pulled into Cauldron Lake. We jumped in after her, and then we wake up a week later, and apparently we wrote our book, The Departure, and the pages are sprinkled all over the city.
I needed to get to Elderwood National Park to meet Alice's
And Alice is still missing, and apparently now there's a kidnapper involved. So again, it throws a lot of wild cards at you. Or curveballs, I should say. It starts off with creepy darkness stuff. Now it's saying that someone may have kidnapped her. I can't remember how to proceed from here. I think we need to... I thought we had to go up there, but I guess I'm wrong. So what do you guys, Angel, what do you guys think of this so far? I don't know if you're familiar with the game or if anyone in the chat has, because I feel like now I'm just starting to talk. I think I pretty much dumped all my knowledge of this game in this universe in the first episode. So I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. I know it's a slow game for sure. It's not very action driven. It's more suspense, thriller, that kind of thing. Oh, what up? Manuscript page. Yeah, I'd love to know what you guys in the chat think about this game so far. If you have any theories on stuff, obviously things are getting weird.
Reveals the world of his story from darkness, shapes it from nothingness. The way a sculptor carves a statue from a block of granite. If I stop, the world I'm making dies. Darkness will reclaim it. It's a long, hard journey into the dark. Alice's life is at stake, but I can't think about that, or I'll lose it. The dread lingers at the edge of perception. I'll push on. Anything is possible here. I'll write the story. I'll save her.
Yeah, so Alan's, again, could be losing it. Our friend is passed out. At least he's got the lights on.
Marvelous, Sarah. I just wanted to settle all
And this is Dr. Hartman.
might have inadvertently caused.
And the Anderson brothers are the old gods of Asgard, the old men that used to be in a heavy metal band back when they were younger.
No, of course not. But I need to know where you'll be staying so I can get in touch with you.
I'd avoid the motel. The Majestic is known for its roaches. The cabins at Elderwood are pretty nice, though.
That sounds perfect.
I'm Dr. Emil Hartman. I'd like to invite you to stay at Cauldron Lake Lodge.
Did you talk to my wife?
I had the pleasure of discussing your situation with her on several occasions.
Did you set something up with her?
I invited her here. My clinic is a place where...
Oh.
Take it easy.
Yep. And here comes Barry.
Get your hands off of my client.
Who are you?
I'm Barry Wheeler, his agent. If you have business with Mr. Wake, you talk to me. You yokels won't know what hit you once I sick my lawyers on your asses.
No harm done, Sarah. I'm all right. I don't want to press charges. Mr. Wake, my offer still stands.
So this shrink guy, obviously Alan's pissed off because... this guy invited you here through Alice. And Alan, just from looking at the guy's picture in his book, thought the guy looked smug, didn't like him. And now that he thinks there's possibly someone who has kidnapped his wife, and maybe it's not something supernatural. He's thinking, well, the only person she had contact in this town was that guy. So maybe, you know, maybe the guy deserved a punch, is the way Alan looks at it.
Somewhere in Elderwood National Park. The plan was to rent a cabin.
I don't like it, Al. I don't like any of it. It's not good. In fact, it's the absolute opposite of good.
Mr. Wake.
And here we have Rose, our #1 fan.
Wow, I was just thinking about you too.
Great.
I was just bringing Rusty some coffee. He's on the balcony, looking after Max. Poor thing. I really need to go. Great to see you again, Mr. Wake. Later.
Who's Max?
Angel says she likes the game so far. Oh, awesome. I'm glad.
What an airhead.
Jeez, Mr. Takes a swing at everybody.
Yeah, see?
This is not her fault.
Alan's a dick.
She's a very nice girl and, more importantly, a fan.
And Barry's right. Like, that girl, she may be a little flirty and she may be a little starstruck, but she means well and she is a fan of yours. Bucktooth and Charlie. The skeleton of a Colombian mammoth. All right. So we are at Elderwood.
Seriously, Al, what you were saying
I
in the
love...
car,
This is all
just
based on
listen to yourself.
real places. Slightly changed. But like I said, the team that made this game, they flew out to Washington and took pictures of a ton of stuff. Buildings, landscapes, everything. And they replicated as much as they could, but then tweaked them, obviously, so they weren't like deliberate rip-offs. But they would mimic the floors, the wooden floors, the stuffed bears, you know, the decor, stuff like that. It's pretty awesome. You did a great job. I really think the design on this game is really beautiful. It pulls me in more. Like, I already am pulled in by the story. It has a very Shining kind of esque story, but then like mixed in with, like I said, Twilight Zone and all the other things that they kind of are influenced by. It's very clear to me. It's like I said, I haven't seen like Stranger Things to me is like a modern day version of this, in the sense that it mashes up like a bunch of different things.
Easy there, boy. I'm almost done.
Hey, Rusty, right? You rent cabins.
Oh, Mr. Wake. I'd shake your hand, but mine are kind of full here.
And this game does the same thing. It mashes up a bunch of different fun horror sci-fi things together, and you know, and just great fiction as well.
Crazy poachers. Max here got his foot caught in a trap. They're illegal to use here.
Oh,
You're not
poor
supposed to hunt
Max.
within the park at all, but that doesn't stop some lowlifes. Well, at
Let me
least
know if you
Max
love
is
dogs in
gonna
the
be
chat.
okay. You got lucky.
I love dogs.
Max is still groggy from the shot I gave him, and I'd rather not leave him alone just yet. The form's on the desk across from the mammoth skeleton.
So Rusty here, he's in the Bright Falls miniseries.
Okay, boy.
Like I said, if you, I don't know if they put them up on YouTube or what, but I know they were on Xbox. So if you have Xbox and you go to like My Movies and TV, I think the Bright Falls series is still on there, and you can stream them or download them, watch them.
Those situations always end up in disaster. You gotta talk to the cops.
She's my wife, and it's my call. Can we talk about this later?
No, this whole thing. Listen, you hit your head. I mean, geez, Al, come on. You gotta understand how crazy all this sounds. If you're trying to pull a joke on me, freak me out, it's working. Ha ha, let's have a laugh on Barry. Well, you had me going there real funny, Al. You can quit it now.
Good old Barry. You got to have a guy like that, you know, for someone like Alan, because Alan can be such a jerk and be so short with people. Barry's very personable.
Thanks.
But so Rusty, like I said, is.
Oh, sure. It's at the end of the nature trail. Just follow the paths, you'll get to it eventually. It's an easy walk. Nice spot, too. If you have any trouble finding it, just keep your
Just when you think people are done talking, check that out.
Oh, and hey, if you take a walk in the woods, watch your steps so you don't end up like Max. I guess I'm a little worried.
But so the Bright Falls series, it follows a character named Jake, who is not really tied to this game at all, but he does meet all the characters. He meets Rusty there, you know, obviously in the web series is live action, so you get a live action Rusty. He meets Dr. Hartman. He's coming to town. Jake in the series is coming to town to talk to Dr. Hartman, do an interview of him about his book that he released. And because Jake's a writer, he's a little influenced by the darkness too, as it's starting to grow, as it has already reached out to pull Alan in. And so while it's waiting for Alan, it is starting to spread and feed. And Jake is one of its victims. So you actually watch Jake lose his mind, basically. Sorry to cut you off, Barry, but you do talk a lot, my friend. And we got to get to some action.
Al? We should go to the sheriff or call the FBI.
Damn it, Barry, they'll kill her. This is not a goddamn debate, Barry. I'm going to Lover's Peak. He said to come alone.
Okay then. I understand. You're my best friend, and I'm worried that you're not right in the head. Tell me what to do to help, and I'll do it.
You stay here, and if I'm not back by morning, call the cavalry.
Just be careful with the natives, Al.
So I've actually heard this game didn't really sell that well when it first came out. I think it was like maybe 100 or 200,000 copies or something like that. It didn't do great, and which really bummed me out because I loved it instantly. My first time playing through it, I loved it. And but it was illegally downloaded a lot. I think over like 1 million illegal downloads of this game. And I believe there was something different in the pirated version. I can't remember if if he had like a black eye or something, but there was something different about Alan Wake, so that if you were playing it and you saw that he had like a black eye or maybe he was wearing a hat or something like that, that's how you knew you had a pirated copy of the game. It was some kind of feature that was put in when the pirated copy was going around. So a lot of people's pirated ones had like something like that going on. So I thought that was pretty cool that they kind of did that. All right, let's keep the lights on. That's always safer, right? So I mean, it's so awesome. Like, they did a really good job on not just the scenery, but just like the little things. Like, all right, yeah, it's just the theme of this. Like, they put themselves in the mindset of small town people. And I think it's as they went around and photographed a lot of Washington, they probably just talked to a lot of people. And then as they took pictures of things, just were like, hey, like this place just literally chops a tree in half and made a table out of it and a bench out of it for people to eat on out behind their cabin. And that's just really, it's so, I mean, like it's pretty dead on. Like, 2 places like this up in Washington. It's pretty great. There's also like areas like Flagstaff, Arizona, which I see a little bit of Flagstaff in this game sometimes, as far as like aesthetic and architecture on some of the buildings and locations, but definitely like, Oregon and Washington. Yeah, you chill out up here, Barry. We don't need you right now. All right, so now we're going to get into some action, which I know a lot of us have been waiting for. So there's still parts of this game that are open world-esque. Like I said, there was originally, the concept was to make this an open world game like GTA, and you would just have all of...
Barry had the keys to the car he rented. Wasn't a long walk to the visitor center, and it wouldn't be any use to me in the forest.
Remedy ultimately decided that they didn't need an open world game like Grand Theft Auto. You didn't need to be able to run from one side of the map to the other, because
wasn't the smartest thing I'd ever done.
They felt it interrupted the flow of the story and how the story was delivered. Because if you could run from one place to the other, you don't have to go and do things in order, Or if you passed a place and you went all the way in the wrong direction and you had to come back, that would also slow you down greatly and be a pain in the butt. So they ultimately just went with this episodic thing and made the game a little bit more linear. Well, and while you still can venture off the beaten path and examine some other things, for the most part, you have to go from point A to point B. But like here, we're going into someone else's cabin.
Back to the show, folks. As promised, our very own Dr. Nelson has just parked his rear end.
And I can't remember. Whoa, okay. Someone's outside.
My plan? You make it sound a lot.
Did you guys see that? Holy cow. That was good. So I can't remember if this is the cabin from Bright Falls. So in Bright Falls, Jake's character actually stays at a cabin while he's losing his mind. And the deputy guy, sheriff guy, is there.
No sack race for us older gentlemen, huh? Yes, exactly, Bat. But I'm going to check out the parade, of course, and I'll be one of the bodyguard.
All right, so everyone's talking about this parade. It's kind of reminds me of Jaws. Like, I don't know if you guys remember Jaws, but in Jaws they talked about like the, like a big party that was coming up, and it was very important that it kept going because it was important to the town, the small town, that everything seemed like it was. Still going well. And so that's kind of what Bright Falls is happening, is there's some bad things going on, and right now a lot of people don't know about it. But as they learn about it through the game, they still kind of are, trying to stay focused on the Deer Fest, thing the parade that's gonna happen. Look at this. Look at this place, man. The lighting is so good on this. And the sound is really great. Like, what I love about this game is what good horror movies do, which is they're really good about the sound. And when things have to be silent, they let things be silent. They don't fill it up with unnecessary noise. They let you completely envelop yourself in the silence. We got another episode of Night Springs. So this is a mini thing that you can experience in the game if you want. Kind of like listening to the radio jockeys talk, which is Mr. Main, I believe, on the radio. You can watch these old episodes that are airing. Man in the Mirror. I don't know if that's a direct reference to a Michael Jackson song, or there's a lot of musical cues in this game, as I've said before. At the end of this episode is actually one of my favorite bands from the 90s. I don't know if you guys remember a band called Poe, but they actually do with a song at the end of this episode. But their big hit, I think, was a song called Hello that came out in the mid-90s. And they were on, I don't know, various scary movie soundtracks that came out at that time.
Maybe you're not the literary type. Okay, so you mess them up.
But I like Poe. I think they were obviously named after Edgar Allan Poe. The band pulls a lot of influence from him. But their song Haunted, which is on this, I'm sorry, I said mid-90s, I meant late 90s. But Haunted is from one of their albums that came out in 2000. All right. Oops. Let's not get stuck here. Once again, we hear the crows. Again, a reference to The Birds by Alfred Hitchcock. Not so much a rip from Resident Evil. All right. So, oof. So here again, we have the memories coming back, and every time they do, the lights go out. Check that out. So like I said, even though it's not an open world environment, sometimes a chapter will have that. It'll have a big open area, and you can get in cars and you can drive them. So it still has the kind of the feel or illusion of a open world. And Rusty is somewhere around here.
Hello? Back here. I'm back here.
There he is. Jeez.
Mr. Wake?
Oh, hell. It happened just the way it was on that page. I found. Came true. It knew. So dark. It'll come back for me. You must... The lights. In the office. I have the key.
Okay, Rusty.
So Rusty has now found one of your pages and read it and learned that what he read on the page
Couldn't be far.
came to life.
Rusty had found a page from the manuscript. It would help me understand what had happened.
All right, let's go. Let's go turn on some lights, yo.
The only way to make sure that Rusty was safe was to get the power running and the lights back on.
All right. Oh, we got another page here. Let's pick that up. Ooh. Ammo and batteries. Perfect. And so, yeah, as you notice, our battery count dropped and our weapon count, we're just down to the handgun, which we just picked up from Rusty.
It was too late.
Oops.
Someone had destroyed the circuit breaker. There was no way to get the lights back on.
And that happens a lot in the game where, you know, we were just at a sheriff's station talking to Sarah Breaker, so obviously a lot of our stuff would get confiscated.
The ground was covered with oily patches that looked like liquid darkness.
And here we go. Finally, some action. Oh no, Rusty. Ah, dude.
Had torn a mammoth-sized hole in the
Holy crap. All right, guys, here we go. Tighten your sphincters.
Don't feed the animals.
And see, now you have Rusty turning into a darkness, and you can hear the lines he's saying. Being like a wildlife guy.
Rusty, no!
You'll, you know, again, just that's what the darkness does to you. It just taps into like it's almost like playing you like a recording, you know? So you end up saying just random things that you've said in your recent past. Yeah, so these bosses they're hard. Because they don't stand still. No, Rusty, you were a good dude, man. Ah. That's a shame. Oh, we got more. Whew. All right. Let's proceed. So yeah, so like I said, there are times where... Oh man. There are times where the game has the illusion of an open world. Just so you can, you know, kind of explore and take trucks around and stuff like that. Because that was their initial design for the game. But I kind of like the episodic feel. I like ending each episode on a cliffhanger. It just kind of works for me. It makes us feel more like a, you know, like a good thriller TV show. And it's only 6 episodes, so but it is a pretty long game because each episode gets long, a little bit longer. So, you know, it took us about an hour and a half to finish the first episode, and it might do the same for the second episode here.
Don't open the door for anyone. I mean it.
And here we have Barry starting to see the dark creatures as well. So, you know, Alan's warning him, like, hey, man, just stay in the light. Keep the lights on. You're going to be fine. And normally here, like, so you'll see things like these cans. So there's... Oh, let's check out this view. I just love looking at the scenery. Ugh. I know we got stuff to do, but just give me a second here. Sometimes on these railings, you'll see cans that are like stacks of 3 or 6 or something like that. If you shoot them, that's actually like a mini thing you can do in the game for an achievement. You can actually, you know, shoot a couple of those down. I think there's like a couple in each chapter that you pick up. Same with the manuscript pages. You got to find all the manuscript pages. There's thermoses that are like, you know, filled with coffee or something. If you get all those, you know, there's like 100 of them or something like that, or 50 of them. If you get all those will, you know, unlock an achievement as well. So there's a lot of little side things you can do in the game. They don't really advance the story in any way. They're just there to, well, the manuscript pages do,
Lover's
but
Peak was at the far end of the nature trail.
mostly there to just give you something else to do. So again, here we see this fluorescent glow-in-the-dark paint on the rocks. We're going to find out who left those there. That actually ties into the game story-wise. But someone left you all these weapons to fight the darkness with. So when you follow these, like we did in the last episode, we'll come across, you know, like something, like, you know, some extra ammo or something. And this is a side area. This is not like we have to run back the way we came. And there's usually always enemies in here. So this is Moonshine Cave. The cave was a site of frequent and lucrative bootlegger activity throughout the Prohibition 1919 to 1933. Pretty nice. I got a friend who would love to have, I think, makes their own moonshine, actually. So we get a shotgun here. And lithium batteries. Cool. So the shotgun's nice. That'll come in handy as we get surrounded by enemies. Probably even face a couple on the way out of here, because that's what this game does. It rewards you and punishes you for walking off the beaten path. Oh, no enemies this time. It's probably because we're on normal mode. Am I missing something? Did that fall? Uh-oh. Can I not get out now? Weird. Sorry guys, let me just figure this out real quick. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I gotta probably adjust my brightness. That was so dark that I thought I ran against that, but you know what? I'm an idiot. I'll take full blame for being stupid there. Phone dead. Oh, and here they come. I was about to say, I see one peeking out. All right. Oof. Gotta love that dodge, right? Son of a... If you're wondering why I keep jumping, it's because I keep forgetting what the reload button is. Karma says, I'm back. Just subscribe to your other YouTube channel. Ah, Karma, thank you so much. Thank you for doing that. And yeah, if you look in that description box of the Dead Space video, in the description, I put all the links to you guys. So like you, June, Angel, Urzatron, Lil C, Almighty. I try to give all of you guys some love on there. Because obviously I'm referencing you a lot in the, in the chat. Like when I'm talking, I'm like, oh, Angel says this. And I just wanted to be able to, for people who do watch those videos, to give you guys a chance and check out your Twitch streams also and get to know who I'm talking about and who I'm talking to every night. So Karma, I'd love to know what you think of this game too, because I know it's not exactly Resident Evil, and we will get back to some Resident Evil very soon, for sure. But I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts on this so far are, and I think I am going the wrong way. So never get lost in the woods in this game. Because they do give you sidewalks to walk on. So you're supposed to stick to them. And I totally walked away from them. Alright, so here we go. The Great Old One. Felled by lightning in 1937, this exceptionally tall Rocky Mountain Douglas fir, Pseudotsuga menzies, subsiglocia, wow, glauca, was over 200 years old. So that's the scientific name for the tree. Awesome. Alright, so let's run down this way. Usually if we're seeing more enemies, that means we're going the right way. Oops. Oof. You ugly SOB. Karma says, I saw that, thanks. I think it's worth the money. Oh, the game? Yeah. Yeah, this is... Yeah, I mean, this is only $20 right now. On you could buy the digital copy of it. And I'd recommend it. I love this game. When it first came out, I bought the special edition of it. I remember the person at GameStop telling me I was the only one who had pre-ordered the game. Not just like a regular version of the game. I was the only one who pre-ordered any version of the game. And it was the special edition version that I pre-ordered. And the special edition version came with like a book called the Alan Wake Files. It came with like an extra disc, I think. Came with a bunch of stuff. It was really awesome. It was a really nice little box set. And it was only like $10 more. So so it was like, I think the regular game was like $50, or maybe it was the regular $60, and then the special edition was $70. But I remember it only being like $10 more, and I was like, yep, worth it. Anytime a game comes with a book, I get excited because I love to read. So I immediately jumped on that. All right, so over here we got a little an axe through a phone. Awesome. So they definitely don't want you calling anyone. All right, so here's where we stick to the sidewalk. Anytime you go out into the woods, you're going to trigger more enemies, and you're going to get lost, most likely. All right. So I think I've gone over the basic story of this, enough, and probably repeated myself enough times. So now we'll just kind of try to live in the moment, stick to what's going on, and I'll just answer any questions you guys have in the chat, if you have any. Whew. Yeah, because the battles are going to start getting more and more intense.